Once upon a time, you could actually tell where a record was mixed just by the sound. Back in the day, engineers often worked for a single studio, and because they were tied to a specific region, each area developed its own unique mixing style and sound. Now, up until the mid-90s, it was easy to know if a track came out of New York, LA, London, or Nashville, and it's all just by listening to it. After about the mid-90s, there was only like 4 people working on music, but that's a story better left up to Rick Beato. Hi, my name is Larry Ivy. I am a musician on a mission to help others create, release more art, and be their happiest and healthiest selves, with the goal of opening my own commercial venue and recording studio. If this is your first time here, please consider subscribing so you don't miss any future deep dives into guitar, music, and production. So today things aren't as distinct since engineers move around and styles have blended, but you can still trace modern mixing approaches back to these 4 roots. Stick around to the end because I'll show you a simple way to think about your own mixes using what I'm calling the 4 quadrants of mixing. So let's start with the New York style. Probably the easiest to spot. It's all about compression or giving music a nice big audio hug. It's punchy, aggressive, it's in your face. Now, engineers would send drums, sometimes with the bass, through these parallel buses, crush them with the compressors, then blend the signal back into the mix. So like this as it heads into the mix. And add a little bit of EQ boost to the highs and lows, and you've got that signature New York slam. It's the audio version of the city itself. It's bold, it's full of...
I'm walking here! I'm walking here! Up yours, you son of a bitch!
Now on to the West Coast, with LA engineers took a different approach. Their mixes were smoother, more natural, and a little less obvious with the compression. They added more reverb for depth, but kept things musical rather than overly layered. LA style was all about capturing the event, then enhancing it sonically. You have bands like Van Halen with Jump, the Doobie Brothers with Listen to the Music. Now these are perfect examples of that sound. Now, we take you across the pond, and you'll find that the London style, this was like an ogre.
Ogres have layers. Onions have layers. You get it. We both have layers.
But was also compressed just like the New York style, but it was drenched in effects. It was trying to create a unique environment. This is something I personally like a little bit more. Every instrument had its own space. The elements would come and go, keep the dynamics shifting. And you think of it like Hugh Padgham's work with Phil Collins. Now, these records still crush to this day. This style was like building a soundscape where every detail had its place. It's like crafting a story. As you could tell, I actually really like this style. It's what I'm aiming towards myself. Then there's Nashville. At one time, the vocals were just pushed so far out in front, they almost felt separate to the music, almost like when you're mixing like rap vocals onto a two-track. Like they aren't together, it's one sitting on top of each other. But of course, over the years, the style evolved. It's gotten closer to that LA sound. It's more natural. It's more heavily track-driven, but still with a country flavor. You still got big vocals, gigantic, robust rhythm sections, maybe some fiddle, a steel guitar, not as many strings. There's not a lot of string sections in these, or horns. That's something you'd hear way back with older country, which I didn't know until a buddy of mine put me onto it. But Nashville back then was all about serving the song and the storytelling. So how do you apply this to your own mix? So we have to start thinking of this in quadrants. So you can think of it in an X. And you could have this graph on the left side of the chart, something on the right side of the chart. One would say production, and then one would say instrumentation. So a great example of this would be low production, not a lot of instrumentation. You can think of black metal. It's gritty, it's just raw. It sounds like it's recorded in a cave is what a lot of people think. Not a lot of production, not a lot of instrumentation. The polar opposite of that, you can think of like pop songs where there's a little, not even real guitar, but you've got drums, a ton of synths. The vocals are way overproduced. Everything is crystal perfect. And now for you, the goal is to find what you think you want to accomplish. I really like instrumentation. So if I was on this graph all the way to the bottom right, I want as much instrumentation as I can get away with. And production, about halfway up. I want things to sound still organic and real, but lots of layers. I want things to dynamically shift between like vocals coming in and out, the old Max Martin trick with when you're coming in and when you're leaving parts. But that's me. Tell me what you think in the comments below. Now, if you want mixes that jump out of the speakers and stomp a listener into the dirt, head on over to Larry Ivy Mixing today. I provide tracking, mixing, and mastering, and I also offer a free test mix if you can't make it here. So if you want to hear the difference before committing, once again, go to LarryIvyMixing.com and claim your free test mix. Peace.